Amsterdam is such a beautiful place. Apart from its detailed canal system and bike paths, it is also known for something which holds value in the present day and age. The first stock exchange in the world was established in Amsterdam, the most popular city in the Netherlands, and the present-day capital of the Kingdom of Netherlands in 1602. The Netherlands is one of the 4 constituent countries that together form the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Much like the United Kingdoms, this state is a constitutional monarchy with 98% of its territory in Western Europe and the rest in the Caribbean. The Netherlands is informally known as Holland, and Dutch is the official language of the Netherlands. In fact, the people of Netherlands are also known as the Dutch. Now, let us go back to the 16th century when the Dutch Republic rose to power and entered its golden age. Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor, reigned in Europe. His empire extended from Spain and the Netherlands to Austria and the Kingdom of Naples. However, owing to the French pressure and the growth in Protestantism, he abdicated and handed over both Spain and the Netherlands to his heir, Philip II, in 1556. Philip II of Spain held present-day Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, which are together called Low Countries as they lie in a coastal lowland area of the northwestern part of Europe. The Spanish rule was taxing for the people of the Netherlands who wished to break away from their dominance. Philip II saw his subjects in the Netherlands as a source of revenue and had little in common with them. Owing to his allegiance to the Catholic Church, Philip II wanted to eradicate heresy. The Netherlanders, who took pride in their ancient privileges, detested the presence of the Spanish troops. The exclusion of nobles from participating in governance and the sole emphasis on financial drain made the Netherlands feel alienated from the Spanish rule. Now, in the hope of evicting the Spaniards, the Dutch raised armies, and this led to the onset of the 80 Years' War of Independence. During this war, the southern provinces like Belgium, Luxembourg, and northern France continued under the rule of the Spanish, whereas the Dutch were more resilient and continued their fight. The Dutch proclaimed independence from Spain in 1581. Post the independence proclamation, the Dutch assisted the English in defeating the Spanish Armada, the great fleet of nearly 150 ships sent by Philip II. This fleet sailed with the purpose of escorting an army from Flanders, the Dutch-speaking northern portion of Belgium, to invade England. The defeat of the Armada in 1588 sent out a clear message that the Spanish could be defeated and were not an indomitable force. Eventually, the Netherlands was formally recognized in 1648 with the Treaty of Westphalia, signed between Spain and the Dutch. Following the Treaty of Westphalia, the Dutch Golden Age began with their quest for spice trade. They were willing to brave the sea and sailed with nothing to lose. The nation that was at the helm in overseas exploration in the 15th and 16th centuries, as we have already studied, was Portugal. The supremacy of the Portuguese declined when it was forcibly united with Spain in 1580 under Philip II. Meanwhile, the Dutch sought to expand their influence in overseas trade and expanded their shipping. When their chief port for eastern trade at Lisbon was closed by Philip II in 1581, the Dutch frantically looked for alternatives. Why were they looking for alternatives? The reason was Lisbon was important for the Dutch as they transported goods brought by the Portuguese from the east to Lisbon. Then they took these goods to Antwerp, from where they were sent to other parts of Europe. After Lisbon was shut, the Dutch had no other option but to send out expeditions to procure commodities, thus forcing them into direct trade with the East Indies. The Dutch formed a permanent settlement at Cape of Good Hope on their way to the east. This was the first white settlement in South Africa. It served as a nucleus for the Dutch colonial operations. The Dutch soon replaced the Portuguese as the dominant power in the goods east of Cape of Good Hope. The Dutch became an enterprising trading power by the middle of the 17th century. It was a colonial empire with extensive reach in both the east and the west. To sum up, let's revisit some of the key takeaways that aided in the rise of the Dutch. In their quest for spice trade, the Dutch explorers reached the East Indies, parts of East Asia and Southeast Asia. The Dutch were keen to destroy the prevailing monopoly of the Portuguese in spice trade. Cornelis and Frederick de Houtman were brothers who navigated and led the first Dutch trading expedition to the East Indies, an area whose trade previously had been a Portuguese monopoly. This was a victorious accomplishment for the Dutch as they began their spice trade after Lisbon port was closed to the Dutch, as we have seen in 1581. Then came an epoch moment in the history of commercial trading, the establishment of VOC. VOC stands for Verenigd Oost-Indische Compagnie, and it was formed by the governing body of the Dutch Republic known as the States General. This VOC was also called the United East India Company or the Dutch East India Company. The Dutch soon established their first factory at Masulipatam in North Coromandel in 1605. Eventually, the Dutch expanded their trade network and established trading centers in different parts of India, and thus began a new chapter in the history of trade and commerce in the Indian Ocean.